Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking around, and hopefully you had a lot of fun with us at the Sister Chat. And now we are going to continue this conversation that we had earlier, which is sexual abuse in our communities. And if you're just joining us, please take a minute and share this video, and we're gonna wait for you to do that. And I think you just did. Thank you very much. So now, ladies, let's talk about some of the solutions that we need to all look at, whether it's the laws, whether it's some of the things that society has to do, holding ourselves accountable. What are some of the things that you ladies can suggest? And if you're watching, also suggest some of the practical things that we can start to do as a community to make sure that we eradicate this sexual abuse in our communities. Comment below and let us know your take.
For me, I think we just need more female leaders to come out and support these young women and support us as women, okay? Because if you have all this abuse going on in our societies and you have the first lady of the country staying mute, okay, but wants to come out every now and then to show her face when it feels good, when it's just like a commercial status for her, we don't need that. We want someone who's going to stay there, be there, and represent us and have a voice and make sure that the laws are changed. Because just by us talking would make it very difficult for the laws to change. But when the first lady, when the vice president, when the minister of women's affairs, when they come up and say, listen, we're going to make sure that this change happens, and it happens now. Trust me, it will happen, and it will happen very fast. We need these people to come out and speak up and speak against the abuse and the violence that's happening in our societies, because the time is now.
One of the things that I think is so important when we're talking about sexual abuse is about where are we targeting our focus? So in our African societies, normally we would go towards victim blaming. So what was she wearing? Where was she? What was she doing? And not necessarily on the actions of the perpetrator. And the problem with always then blaming the victim is that it's the victim's problem. And our understanding of sexual abuse in society has to shift to that the perpetrator is a person with agency, and they're the ones who are going out and being predators against people. You can rape boys, you can rape women, you can rape others, you can rape your wife, because even if you do get a criminal offense or you do get arrested or whatever, it's not going to go down on a register.
Like in the West, when you're a sex offender, that goes down in a registry. So if you move, all your neighbors have access to that information. So it is tied to the person for the rest of their lives. And this is a form of accountability for the community to adopt, or the countries to adopt, to make sure sex offenders are identified and they will continue to be identified.
Most of the time, the blame goes to the justice system. But my question is, what is society's role towards the perpetrators? Because most of the time, it's only in Gambia where I've seen people even commit murder, and then somebody will come and withdraw the case because it's a family member. Once you commit certain crimes, it should be between you and the state. It can no longer be between you and the end, because the state has the sole responsibility of protecting us. So if the laws are there, but anybody can wake up from the family and go and withdraw a case, then we don't have cases. I give you a typical example. In the LRR, they call it Lower River region, we had this remote school inside before summer. And then this teacher impregnated the student, and the teacher was living in the compound with them. And the student was a grade 5 or grade 4 student. And then the case was brought to our office. And the police went and arrested the teacher, took him to the police station. But immediately they did that, the family went and withdrew the case, because they said that if we put the man in prison, there will be nobody to take care of the child.
That's crazy.
But I'm telling you that we have a no-nonsense lady as the director of basic education. She was the head of gender, and I was her assistant. And we were very stubborn. We said, whatever happened, we're going to involve the media if need be, and we're going to expose everybody involved in the cover-up. So I sat there with my lenses like a legal person. I went and get the Constitution of the Gambia. I opened, with my boss, we opened all the pages talking about abuse and all that, and we quoted all the sections to the IGP of the Gambia.
Good.
If my police are listening, they will say, yes, it's true. And we wrote a very powerful letter. And then we sent it to the Inspector General of Police. He said, go back and arrest that man and take him back. We are ready to go and even stand in court to defend the guy. And what happened? The IGP came back and said the Mansokongo police didn't have fuel to go and pick the person. What we did, we dispatched our own vehicle with fuel and said, go and arrest the person. So these are the cases we are facing. If you are a police officer and the families come and say we are withdrawing the case, and you know our master her syndrome. That's our sickness in our Gambian society. Yeah. We master her over everything. And in the end, it comes back to bite all of us. There is the need for that sensitization in our communities, for them to understand that it's the responsibility of the state to take care of all of us, and so that women, girls, boys, men, they are all safe and not to be abused. And if abuse happens, the perpetrators should be brought to justice.
Adama, you're a true warrior. I truly wish we had more women like you in the system, honestly, because that will make a huge difference. That you were ready to fight for that girl, and unfortunately, those cowards pulled the case, and that's what I would call them, because they were not ready to protect that girl.
The solution has to start at home, because sometimes, like for me personally, when I gathered enough strength to actually tell my parents, I wasn't believed. Like, no, it's not true. You know, you are a rebel. You know, you just want to go out and have fun. That's why you're making up all these stories, you know? And this is a guy who lived with us for more than 8 years. So for 6 years straight, he's been abusing me inside my family home. So I decided to tell my parents at 18, you know, that's when I gathered my courage to tell them. And may their souls rest in peace. That broke my heart. Since I was young, like what that guy told me was, even if you tell your parents, they're not gonna believe you, and they'll probably disown you or even kill you. So when I grew up, I was like, okay, now let me see if he was right. I was so afraid of telling them that I had to write them a letter and I had to run away from home. This was in Qatar. You know, my mom, she just went off like, yes, I know this is not true, you're lying. So I think the solution should always start at home. Like mothers and fathers should always believe their children, no matter what. Even if it's like a story out of this world, look into it. Look into it, because a child doesn't just sit and lie about things like that. And it is up to the mother, up to the parents to give that girl the power. And the way to do that is to believe them all the way through.
This is a really sad conversation, as we all mentioned on the top of the hour, but it's a conversation that we must have and we must continue to have. It's our responsibility as society to protect our young women, our young girls and boys. Because also, if you think about it, I feel like the boys that this is happening to, they can also continue to do it in our society because they're all messed up. They didn't get the help that they need. It goes with a lot of trauma. Just can you imagine the people that it happened to for years and years? Like Afro, you just said 6 years. That's a long time to be going through something, to have to suppress it, you know? So everybody needs help.
Oh, I forgot. I even told an auntie of mine, I went to this auntie, I couldn't have it anymore. And I told her everything. So I was really stubborn. So every time I'm like displaying in the house, they would call him.
Who knows why you were quote unquote stubborn and rebellious, quote unquote.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Because there was something inside of me that I wanted to take out that I didn't know how to, you know? So that pushed me to become, you know, to rebel, you know, in school, at home, everywhere. So every time that happened, it was him that would call for him to discipline me somehow. So he'll take me to his room and that's when he'll do what he'll do, you know? So I went to my auntie and I told my auntie, I was like, look, this is what's happening and I can't anymore. I'm really tired of it. And I thought that was the end of it. Like, but what she did was she used that information to blackmail me to do all her chores at home.
I'm so sorry
for the next 5 years again, you know? So like Amy said, it's not always, you don't always have somebody to tell, you know? So I think we should really, in Gambia, we should really look into having a safe place for the abused to run to and get love and get, be listened to. It is really important, very important.
Thank you so much, Afro, for sharing your story. You're very strong. We are so proud of you, and hopefully you're gonna be motivating. I know for sure you'll be motivating a lot more people to come out and tell their stories and to stand on their truth. You are an inspiration to all of us. I don't even know what to say right now. I'm speaking. I don't know how to process everything you just said, but all I can say is I'm really sorry. Amina, can I ask you something quickly before we wrap this up? What are some of the signs that a parent can watch out for, right? The behaviors of a child changing when things like this is happening?
Definitely there will be some sort of behavioral changes. This could be anything. The most important thing is for a parent to actually have an awareness of how the child behaves when something changes. But if there's a traumatic experience like a sexual violation, you'll find that maybe they're a little bit more isolated. Even dress code, you'll find that maybe a child wants to wear more clothes to kind of hide their body. You'll find that then, for example, like she was telling her story, that around this person, the child is very uneasy because there's something that's happening there. In a lot of cases also, children then start to, maybe a child is potty trained, then they may start to pee on themselves because that's a sign of regression, because they don't know how to process the emotional trauma. And it's almost like then the body then starts to shut down, and there's a lot of regression. You'll find in the school spaces, the marks start to drop. They're not performing as well as they used to. One of the bigger things is this, my child is rebellious. So psychologically, what does happen, even with adults, is that if somebody is raped, and then what happens is their power is taken away from them. And like their sexual, their ownership is taken away from them. They've been violated. So unconsciously what happens is then that person might then start to become very promiscuous in a way to communicate that, look, you don't own this. I can give it wherever. I own this. And this is what happens in a lot of cases. You see somebody is very sexually promiscuous and you're like, what's going on with this person? In many cases, you can go and you can track it back to some sort of sexual violation and have these kinds of conversations so that people can start thinking about these things and they can start linking them and putting the pieces together. And that way we can start to also protect our communities and our families.
Thank you so much, Amina. And if you're watching, as we mentioned, continue to share this video. Earlier, we were talking during the break. Somebody said that it happened to a child, right? Whether it's the father that did it or the stepdad, the mom still protects the husband or the partner or whatever, and doesn't believe her own child, right? And stays in that marriage and continue to have marital affairs with the husband. I mean, that's sick.
When I was working in the Gambia in an international organization there, one of my colleagues shared a very sad story. She came to my office and said, Adama, this I cannot sleep. I said, why? He said, there is this girl, somebody came and confessed to me that there is a lady whose daughter was impregnated by the father. And then I want to report the case, but I don't know what will be the implication and how they're going to look at me because I live with them. And then I said, do the right thing. If you reporting it is the right thing to do. And then when she reported the case, the mom went and withdrew, said it's not true, and forced the girl to say it's not true. Yeah. And the mom, the family intervened, they withdrew the case, trying to say that the girl has a mental problem. Yeah. And then in the end, what happened? The mother still continued in that marriage. I always say that whenever you ask a girl who is the father of your child and they keep quiet until they die, they will never say, go and arrest the father.
That's a very good point. I love you, Adama.
It's a taboo to mention that my dad or my uncle who impregnated me or who is abusing me. You know, I can feel for Aphrodisiac because I have a lot of stories. I work with people who were abused before, and I know where you are coming from. You know, so it's really a sickness in our society. People should get away from the fact that when it happens, they say, I will rather preserve my marriage then get out of that marriage. I can't sleep with a man who sleeps with my daughter, my dear.
That's sick. That's disgusting. Anyways, I don't think that we can do this whole segment in one show. Hopefully we'll have this conversation again because it's really crucial. But before we let you guys go ahead. Whatever country you're from, if you know a hotline or if you know any organization that helps victims that are being abused or in these situations, go ahead and write the country's name or the city and also the phone number. I'm gonna start with you ladies. Any numbers or any organization that you know in your area that can help women, especially if you're in Africa?
We have a number for Gambia, and if you're watching, if you need help, please dial 1313. Please dial 1313 and you will get someone who can help you out.
Okay, so if you're in South Africa, you can contact the Center for the Study of Violence and Reconciliation on 071-241-1831. You can send a please call, you can send an SMS, you can call, and somebody will be able to reach out to you.
But if anybody is going through something like that and needs somebody to talk to, I'm always available, via my social media platform. At Aphrodisi Njie.
Unfortunately, I'm only on Facebook, so you can get me on Facebook, Adama Ceesay.
Yeah, so on Instagram, I am Ask the Psychologist, and on Facebook, I am Amina Mwaikambo Psychologist.
Perfect. And what we'll do is we'll leave you guys right here, and we will continue on the other side of the show, which is the hot soup that we always have for you guys. So stick around, don't go anywhere, and hopefully you found this conversation very informative, and we thank you for sticking around with us. Continue to share the video and continue your comments. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Everyone, thank you so much for sticking around and hanging around with us right here on the Sister Show platform. And hopefully you found that information and that conversation very instrumental. Now let's go into the hot soup. If you don't know, the hot soup is a place where we have conversations that we bring you burning topics from around the web, news, media, anywhere. Sometimes it's dropped in our DMs and we bring it up and we salivate on it. We figure out if you're on this side of the soup or that side. Let's go into it. This lady said she met a man who was really nice to her. This came into the DM. And they started dating, and the guy has been really, really nice. But all of a sudden, she finds out that the guy's ex-girlfriend comes over to the house and spends the night. And he is financially supporting the ex-girlfriend and also supporting a child that they have together, which is the ex-girlfriend's child.
That sounds like entanglement.
A big entanglement.
Is she homeless?
Right. I don't think she is. She has a house sometimes to spend the night. She comes over for sleepovers.
I knew someone who had a similar situation. So his ex has a baby with somebody else. Was pregnant with somebody else. And then the ex was single in the apartment, but probably had a girlfriend. Was supporting her, but there was nothing going on with them. And the ex was actually impregnated by somebody else. If they were just sleeping there because he was just trying to support them and there was no sexual relationship, I mean, I totally understand it. Unless and until she said, well, hey, they're sleeping together. Now, that's a different story.
Amy, wait a minute. Why is this woman being impregnated by another man that is not supporting her?
Well,
that's to me, if you're a woman and you're pregnant by another man, that man better be taking care of you, my boyfriend. But my fiance better not be the one to support you. If he's going to support you, it better be at some other place, but not to come and stay with him.
Okay. Sometimes you have to look at things from a different perspective. I'm telling you this because I legit know someone, right?
Amy, the kind of people that you know.
But listen. This lady was not. She was not a stable person. They have kids. The kids live with the guys. The guy though. But for the love of his kids, he was just
taking care of the woman.
Yeah, he was just helping their mother. you have to understand there are situations that happen. Not every situation you just have to flip. I mean, because that's what I would do. I'll flip. I'll shook the tables out. But in this situation, this guy was very understanding. I mean, and I knew for a fact there was nothing going on between them.
Let's ask the psychologist.
It just smells foul. Like, seriously. Firstly, you said that she found out, so the guy didn't come and disclose, right? That's already a red flag. And my thing is, okay, fine. If you have a child with somebody, you want their parent also to be okay, right? Because you want to be able to co-parent in a healthy environment. So it's like, I don't know, it just...
Well, but okay, let's be the devil's advocate, because I see where Amy is coming from. Sometimes if you have a child with someone, let me say my heart food. Sometimes if you have a child with someone, right? You love the child and you want their well-being. If their mom needs help and support, you should also love the mom enough because of the love that you have for the child. Because if the child's mom isn't okay or doing well or stable, then your child is not going to be stable. So
there has to be that transparency. If the transparency is not there, then I'm kicking that. He's gone. Goodbye. Bye.
You can take care of them without letting the mom come and sleep over in the house. Like Amina said, that's like a red flag all over. And I know Amy's trying to make like all these justifications. Find another way to support them. Send them money, right? Like support them. They have to get a job. They have to move on, but they cannot really like be sleeping over.
Ole, you sound so bitter. Get a job. They have to move on.
Ole does have a point. I think there are ways that you can help this person. And Amina also said another thing, that is transparency. Now, if there are all these two things that are lacking, there's transparency lacking, there's other ways of getting them help lacking, then I'm going to raise my eyebrow, right? But to give people the benefit of the doubt, you should always, right? But, I'm saying but. This is why it's very good for a man to be truthful. Sometimes we don't have a problem with you supporting somebody else, but you have to come up to me and say, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm doing it because of this, that, and that.
Most women are understanding if you explain
very
it
understanding,
to them.
but
yeah.
you sometimes you just want to just hide and just sneak around and just talk, and that's when you look suspicious and stupid. I'm sorry.
It's not because they don't want to speak up. It's because they have a reason for not speaking up. Because they damn well know that if you have a girlfriend or you have a fiance and you trying to tell me this is your ex, you have a kid with your ex, and now the ex is going to move into the house, please, girls, don't be fooling yourself. You all know if your boyfriends come to you and say, oh, by the way, my ex-girlfriend, my baby mama doesn't have a place to live, and now she's going to move into our apartment. Tell me you all are going to say yes. No. Exactly. To me, I would say no.
I mean, I say yes.
Listen, no. Listen to me. Amy, if you let that woman come in, later on, you guys are going to fight. I don't care how much caring you want to do as a woman. I don't care how much you're going to try to support this woman. You are going to end up fighting. There will be relationship issues. To me, before that happens, guess what? If you need someone to pull your bootstraps to help you to be successful, I'll help him help you, but it's not going to be in my environment, in my household. And then later on, you'll be like, oh, I did not know, I was just trying to be helpful, and this woman came in and snatched my man. No, you allowed the woman to come and snatch your man. It's your fault for letting it happen because you're trying to be all
No, it's not her fault.
Yes,
we can't blame
because
her.
you knew what you were letting yourself be. If you see a car and you go stand in front of the car and you tell me, oh, it's not my fault, the driver said stop. No, it is your fault for allowing that to happen. If you want to be helpful outside, but not in your household. Period.
The guy and the woman were just dating. That's not her. That's not his house.
If I'm dating someone, it has to be a serious relationship for me to even consider it a problem. If I'm just dating you just because of dating and there's no intention of being married, I wouldn't even care. I'll say go on and help her, and you can even help her more if you go marry.
Okay, Dr. J.
Right. So just hold on once again, give Amy a taste of her own medicine that she gives us each day. Amy, look at yourself. Amy, look at yourself. Look at your mouth. You say that you will allow that to happen to you. Amy,
I never said that. If the man told me and said this person needs a house to stay for temporary reasons, blah 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 blah. In fact, I would even say yes, but come and stay with me. and leave them with that house. You see, sometimes yes, let them stay there. If they need it for 5 months, let them stay there. You can come and stay with me, because what's gonna end up happening?
But that's the question, Amy. That's the question. The question is, if you find out.
No, my answer is not to the question. My answer is to Ule, because Ule was trying to
Amy, look at yourself. Look at yourself from top to bottom. Be quiet.
Anyway, if you're watching, do comment. What's your take on this? Would you actually allow it, or would you make a fuss and get out of the relationship, like Dr. J and Ole are indicating here? I think Amina, Dr. J, and Ole are on the same side. Amy and I seems to be on the same side. Amy, are we on the same side? Probably not.
I think we are. What we are doing is we're a bit more rational. We're like, okay, if this is the situation, we will do this. Right. But if it happens the way that this person is narrating her story, then leave the hell out.
I'm just saying, in closing, that woman is going to wake up in her pajamas, her cute little pajamas, at some point to make breakfast. She's going to be making breakfast for your man and her child. Guys, this is a no-brainer.
And Amina just paint the picture the whole nother level. She just put the whole...
What is she wearing in the house? How comfortable is she? No.
I mean, are you jealous?
Something to eat when you go to work.
Does she hug her to say goodnight, or does she kiss her?
It's the S.
Did you have a good day?
No. On that note, we'll drop this hot soup right here. Comment and let us know what side of the soup you're on. Thank you so much, Amina, and we will see you next time on the next show, hopefully. Bye, ladies. Love you all. Thank you, everyone that's been commenting. We love you guys. Bye-bye. Yay! All right. What time is it?
You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
No, I am amazing. Afro, repeat that. Amy is amazing.
Amy, you have always been amazing.
Thank you. Let them know. Please repeat that.
I think they already know.
Man, Amy, be quiet. Thank you so much, Afro. We appreciate everything. And thank you for being vulnerable. It means a lot. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank you, sisters. You guys made me feel so comfortable.
Thank you.
I know. Amina, you're wonderful. We love you.
I loved being here. You guys really made me laugh last time.
Aww.
Yeah, I was really, really happy to sit down.
You guys were not filming.
Oh, you just want to get away from hold on.
Hey, we're recording.
That's Amy.
What did she say?
You just want to get away from the show.
Why don't you walk on out of here and get away from the show? Okay, let's move on to the next one.
The drumstick is the legs.
No. The drumstick is the drumstick.
The thigh.
The leg is the whole leg.
I'm confused. Okay.
All right.
Anyway,
Wait a minute.
You can warn this one.
There's the foot and there's the drumstick.
No,
right?
the drumstick is the part that looks like a drum. The leg is the thigh and the drumstick together. It's called leg.
Oh, I get you.
Look at these fools explaining what's the drumstick and the leg. Ole, go ahead with the game. Continue.
Looks like Amy has a doctor's degree in chicken.
Okay. I have to go put something on me.
You have to go what?
She be quiet. I already know.
Let me see. Is it really bad?
Yes.
You remember Jay is the Jehovah's Witness and Mamaram, but Mamaram is not here. It'll be quick.
Amina is going to whoop you guys. Amina need to go to bed.
Yeah, Amina is like, clock is ticking. Time is money.
And Adama is the other beautiful with the African alphabet orange. Amina, just so you know, and Amy. And
it's
then
red.
It's okay. We're not gonna go into color conversation. Okay, it's red. And then
what color are you wearing? Is it red or orange?
Amy, please, let's go. We don't have time.
No. What color are you wearing? Please answer for us.
Okay, answer her, Adama.
It's orange.
Thank you. So you see.
So quick.
Okay, you see that. Okay, bye ladies. Love you all. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms to stay connected.
mulo mujulod. Nadia keke jalod. Nangwe kana kendam kodoron jalod. Nangwe kana kendam kodoron salud. Nangwe kana kendam kodoron kirti. Ndampo doron moti. Birikaman kol, ngo fan sol, estila mol. Jonkundang kol, katami katafo manka mankunda mol. Jena nole nata, mele dentala wanjalang kolo. Ngakara fala, karafa femolong, karafa femuka man, karafa mol. Ngaminfo ngaminja fonene majo, thinking te jerry follow. Sanka nanki ninki nanka singada jamba sababe larim banta. Dinke o dinke, esti dinke follow. Dinke o dinke, dimusu dinke follow. Kela ke mpama tamola mimbo konte, rinka nedet kunta kinte. Do kuke se faka ureke, yela kandi kando fadinke. Do muka ke no konte, fondinke nyingari ke. Kwe nene mamoja mimbo konte, demba ifamu yato. Amanjiki mola ndama fansu mol. What are we jump load? It's like no thing of